The successor to the Nintendo Switch is coming up, and I can't wait. But honestly, we have no idea what's coming to the console. We can assume there'll be Metroid Prime 4, no doubt about that. But what else? What else is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2? Hi, I'm Charlie, I'm back, and this is what I think is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Every Nintendo console has had its mainstay franchises and mainstay types of games. These games are a 3D Mario game, a 2D Mario game, Mario Kart, Mario Party, and a Mario Sports games. These are the founding blocks of pretty much every Nintendo console ever. Since the DS, every single console has had at least one of each. The DS had Super Mario 64 DS, New Super Mario Bros., Mario Kart DS, Mario Party DS, and Mario Hoops 3-on-3. Super Mario 64 DS barely counts, but it still works with my theory. The Wii, of course, had Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Kart, Wii Mario Party 8 and 9, and Mario Super Sluggers and Mario Strikers Charged. There was also a port of Mario Power Tennis. The Wii U had Super Mario 3D World, New Super Mario Bros. U and Luigi U, Mario Kart 8, Mario Party 10, and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash. The games don't have to be good, but they do need to exist in order for this theory to work. I think you get my point. Every other Nintendo franchise has missed a console, making it, although unlikely, but possible for them to miss a console. So honestly, the Nintendo Switch 2 will most likely have at least one of all of them. So if we're trying to make a wish list that seems at all at least possible, we need those. The next obvious ones are a 3D Zelda game and Pokemon. These are a little bit more interesting. There has been a 3D Zelda game on almost every home console. However, the GameCube entry ended up releasing on the GameCube and the Wii, and the Wii U entry ended up releasing on the Wii U and the Switch. Of course, the Switch later got its own entry and so did the Wii, but it feels as if Zelda will fall into this trap again. Seemingly every Zelda takes a while to develop, so while I wish that there was a new Zelda, I think it's gonna take a little bit longer. Then we look at Pokemon. It's gonna happen. Doesn't mean it's gonna run well, but it will definitely happen. However, I think it's gonna take a bit longer for Pokemon to move over to the Switch too, but we'll see what happens. So currently we have 3D Mario, 2D Mario, Mario Kart, Mario Sports, Mario Party, 3D Zelda but at the tail end of the Switch 2, and Pokemon but eventually. And there'll probably be some other stuff too. Pretty simple. That's just what will happen. All of these franchises are guaranteed on the next Nintendo console. I'd be shocked if one of these don't happen. Now, what do you guys think will come to the Nintendo Switch 2? I was really hoping to see Final Fantasy Legend of Old School Final Grand Elder Star World of Zelda Warcraft Kingdom Call of Dark Half Breath Raid of I wonder if it'll get ported over. I wonder the same thing. Genuinely though, I really hope there's Mii's. If they aren't, I will burn down Nintendo headquarters. It is interesting that the Mii's kind of have died almost completely. Like there was Miitopia that had Mii's, and Mario Kart 8 and Smash Bros, like they have Mii's in it, but it's not really a major focus of Nintendo anymore. Instead they have sports mates, but I feel like they probably should bring back Mii's or some sort of thing that's pretty much the same thing. Not sports mates though, I mean something that is, you know, as good if not better than Mii's. So just Mii's. More Joy-Con drift. Hell yeah! Emergency frog situation? Well, I need to see what this is.
Emergency frog situation!
Okay. Well, let's look at these other Nintendo franchises to try and see what will be next on the Nintendo Switch 2. Let's start with the obvious. 2D Zelda. It's been a long time since we got an original 2D Zelda. All the way back on the 3DS is the last time we got it. We did get a remake of Link's Awakening on the Switch, but we never got an original one. However, I feel we're due for a new one. There's even rumors of a new remake of a 2D Zelda game, and I think the Switch 2 really needs this. I'm not even that big of a Zelda guy, but I think we really need that variety like the Mario franchise has. Mario has that many spin-offs that it takes up most of what Nintendo does. There's at least 4 Mario games a year, so I think it'd be pretty cool if Zelda even had half of that. And I think we're pretty close, because of course we also need Hyrule Warriors. I haven't played a single entry in the franchise, but I think we need another one. I just think the concept is just so damn cool. I don't think we really need more than one entry on a platform, but it'd be really cool if we got a new one. The last one was a tie-in to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and I think that's probably the best way to do it. See, the Warriors games are actually a part of a larger series called Dynasty Warriors, which hosts other Warriors spin-offs, but it's also its own series. And the only one I've ever played is Persona 5 Strikers. No, I haven't played Persona 5. Persona 5 Strikers ties directly into the story of Persona 5 being a sequel to the game, and I think this made the game feel very much like an important game in the Persona series, while also being a Warriors game, and being able to play it by itself. This also happened with Fire Emblem, which don't worry, I'll talk about later, but we originally had Fire Emblem Warriors, a game that kind of just combined all parts of Fire Emblem. Then we had Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, that directly ties into Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I think this is the way we should continue to do these Warrior games. Just have them tie into the other Zelda games. You can only do the big crossover thing across the entire Zelda series so many times. So what else does Zelda need? I think having Cadence of Hyrule was pretty cool, but I doubt that's gonna happen again. So what else could they do to make the Zelda series that big? I don't know. Of course, Link appears in Mario Kart now, and he's obviously part of Super Smash Bros., but I think we truly need something that brings the Zelda series to new heights apart from just the main series games. Xenoblade. The series I've never played, but Shulk was my main in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, so I guess I have some experience. The Xenoblade series is actually quite an interesting one. I don't want to go into a full history lesson on it right now, but here's what you need to know. In 1998, Squaresoft released a game called Xenogears. The game was directed by a man called Tetsuya Takahashi. The game was an RPG and was originally a proposal for Final Fantasy VII before becoming a sequel to Chrono Trigger before eventually becoming its own game. The game released in Japan and the US, and Europe and Australia didn't get it. That's a shame. Takahashi would later go on to create the company Monolith Soft, with the first game that they worked on being known as Xenosaga Episode 1. The game was once again directed by Tetsuya Takahashi and published by Namco. The game had the Xeno name, just like Xenogears, but it wasn't really a sequel to it, more so just a new version of it. Xenogears was supposed to be a series, but due to Square moving back to Final Fantasy, Xenosaga took its place. Xenosaga Episode 1 introduced Shion Yuzuki, someone who worked for the company Vector Industries. That'll be important later, don't worry. Xenosaga Episode 1 once again released in Japan and the US with no PAL release, and that sucks, but whatever. Xenosaga Episode 2 released in 2004, once again by Monolith Soft and Namco, with this game's director being Ko Arai, if I said that correctly. The game continues the plot from the previous game, and Xenosaga Episode 2 finally had a PAL release. Thank God! Xenosaga Episode 3 released in 2006, granted there was some spin-offs and a compilation of the first two games on the DS, and this game was only released in Japan and the US, so for God's sake! The game didn't sell that well, and the series as a whole had some pretty mixed responses, which left Monolith Soft depressed. Xenosaga was supposed to continue past Episode 3, but it never did. The Xenosaga series was left behind. Ha ha! In 2007, Nintendo bought Monolith Soft, and the two created Xenoblade Chronicles, the new Xeno game. Again, Xenoblade isn't a sequel to Xenosaga nor Xenogears, it's very much its own thing, but it still has that Xeno name, with Ko Kojima alongside Genki Yokota directing the first game, with Tetsuya Takahashi writing the game, or at least was one of the writers anyway. The series would later get a spin-off, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and some sequels, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and 3. Xenoblade 2 got a DLC that added more to the story, but the more important one is Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. Now before I talk about Future Redeemed, just in case you forgot. In Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed, a radio can be seen with the Vector Industries logo on it. Boom! Xenosaga and Xenoblade are connected. That's incredible. Was that a good but quick history lesson in the Xeno series? I hope so. So I think we need, and probably will get, some sort of game where the Xenosaga and Blade games will cross over, but I don't really know. As I said, I've never played Xenoblade or Saga or Gears, but I think that'd be a really cool idea. Also, a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X would be nice too, but we'll see what happens, I guess. No. Wait. Look, I don't think there's gonna be another 1-2 Switch, but I think that there'll be probably something that's sort of similar to 1-2 Switch, like a bit of a casual game that gets pretty mixed reviews. There'll probably be something like that, but it won't be 1-2 Switch, it'll be something else. Or maybe they will do, I don't know. I'm not Nintendo, I have no idea. Anyway, Pikmin is a very interesting franchise. The first two Pikmin games released on the GameCube, a console that didn't sell that great, then they got ported to the Wii, but really weirdly. Pikmin 3 was meant for the Wii, but then eventually got released on the Wii U. Hey Pikmin was something that happened and released on the 3DS, and then finally Pikmin 4 came out to the Switch and became the first entry in the Pikmin series that people actually cared about. Shut up, Luigi! So I think Pikmin 5 is a pretty safe bet on the new Switch. I think Nintendo have finally realized that people do care about the Pikmin games, and I get it. I only recently got into the Pikmin series, but the game is just so much fun. I think this series just works so well being this little unique strategy game from Nintendo that adds to what Nintendo was already doing. Now Pikmin 5 or whatever they end up calling it is a given, but I think there's something else that could be really cool. What about a Hey Pikmin 2? Wait, I know that sounds dumb, but hear me out! Hey Pikmin isn't inherently a bad game, it's just different. I don't think we should have another Pikmin platformer like Hey Pikmin, where the game is cool but the concept gets boring in 5 seconds because there's so much tutorial that you just want to play the goddamn game, and then that weird park thing, or what was going on there, whatever. But I think a Pikmin platformer that actually works out what it's supposed to be could be a really neat idea. Pikmin just need more games, man. Fire Emblem could be huge. Apparently there's a remake of the 4th Fire Emblem game that's just been sat on for a while, so I think they could release that. That'd be cool. But I think it'd be cool to have 3 different sections of the Fire Emblem series, or like 3 different pillars. I think that'd be really cool. We of course need a new game in the main series as its first pillar. The last game was Engage, and although I haven't played it, it does look quite cool. I've heard it's not loved by everyone, but it's still an enjoyable time. Another main series Fire Emblem is bound to happen, and I think it's gonna be great. It would be cool if they re-released the first game again on the Switch like they did before March 31st, 2021. Or maybe they could do like a Fire Emblem Classics collection, but Nintendo would never do that. The next pillar should be a continuation of Fire Emblem Warriors. Can you tell I liked Persona 5 Strikers? Fire Emblem Warriors has 2 games. The first one that released both on the Switch and the 3DS for some reason, and the second one, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, that ties into 3 houses. As I said for Zelda, I think we just need more of these Warriors games. It'd honestly be cool to see a new Warriors game just in general based on Nintendo franchises every few years. And I think that's where we're headed. Now the third pillar of Fire Emblem is a bit of an interesting one. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE was a Wii U then Nintendo Switch crossover between the Shin Megami Tensei series and the Fire Emblem series. I think we need more from this. Having Atlas characters cross over with Nintendo just makes sense. Atlas just feels like it should be on Nintendo, even though it rarely is. I don't know why it makes sense, but they feel similar. Although I think it would have been cool to see the Fire Emblem characters and the Shin Megami Tensei characters cross over, I like the idea that Tokyo Mirage Sessions did, where it combined elements from both series. And I think it would be really cool to see the world of Tokyo Mirage Sessions continue. Maybe with some elements from the Persona series, which I guess is sort of a spin-off to the Shin Megami Tensei series, so just more of the Shin Megami Tensei series would be great. As a proud owner of every single game in the Splatoon franchise, I love this franchise. And I think it's safe to say that Splatoon will continue. Splatoon, man. These games are so good. But Splatoon 3 just seems too recent. I think Nintendo needs to let Splatoon 3 breathe for a bit. I think if anything they should just update the graphics to sort of re-release a game on the Switch too, not like do a full-on re-release where you have to pay a full price again, but just like if you have the old one, you can play it on the new one and we've updated the graphics a little bit. I think they should just do that. And then like, you know, I don't know. They should just stick with Splatoon 3 for a bit, Nintendo. Of course, a Splatoon 4 should come eventually, obviously, but we need to remember that the first Splatoon came out in 2015. I think we need to let the series breathe for a bit. However, a Splatoon spin-off would be incredible. I've seen people on Twitter say they want a Splatoon racing game, and I think it would be perfect, and I think I've come up with the perfect idea of what they should do. Imagine a racing game that, although looks similar graphics-wise to Mario Kart, has a major difference with the karts you drive in being able to paint the ground for your first lap, then on your second and third lap you can go into the paint and create more paint. And then there's multiple racing teams like Team Sonic Racing or Crash Team Racing or whatever that's called, and then you have to try and cover the most land in a team, and then, you know, it's like Splatoon but you're in a car and it's a race. Wouldn't that be fun? I think that'd be a really cool idea. Or they can make a Splatoon 2D platformer. That could be kinda cool. Metroid Prime 4 and 2D Metroid. Maybe something else too. So now that we've looked at every single Nintendo franchise except for Animal Crossing and Kirby, which, guess what? There will be new games. I think we need to quickly run through the other franchises that, you know, I can't really talk about for more than 10 seconds. New F-Zero or GX remake, WarioWare, no duh, Wario Land, please God, Donkey Kong 2D and 3D platformer, please and thank you with spin-offs, Advance Wars, or better yet, Switch 2 Wars, Pokemon, but good this time, Mario plus Rabbids, Big Brain Academy, but good this time, Mario Party, duh, Pokemon Snap, please, Mario Sports, but good, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Brain Age, Clubhouse Games, Luigi's Mansion 4, Dr. Mario, Mario and Luigi, Box Boy, Smash Bros, Star Fox, please, Chibi Robo, Pushmo, Tomodachi, Kid Icarus, and Cruis'n. Did you know that Cruis'n, yes, the series that has Cruis'n USA with its most recent entry being Cruis'n Blast, is actually half owned by Nintendo? I'll talk about it some other time, don't worry. But I want another one. Thanks, Nintendo, you're the best.